I see many new faces this morning, so welcome to our Dharma gathering. In many ways, we are different. We look different, we think differently, and our tendencies of likes and dislikes also are different. These differences are not limited to physical appearances or mental characteristics. Each person's ability to understand Dharma varies as well. Let's say that 3 people receive the Dharma talk, just like today, from their teacher together. Even though they received the same talk from the same person at the same time, their levels of understanding and applying the Dharma may differ. One person might have understood the point of the talk and put it into practice right away. Another might have understood it but found it difficult to adopt the teaching directly in life. The last one might not have understood the teaching at all. Why is this? Because each of their karma has been created differently throughout their lifetimes, resulting in varying capabilities to observe Dharma. Master Sotaesan, the founding teacher of Won Buddhism, said that the spiritual capacities of all practitioners vary by tens of thousands of degrees, but they may generally be categorized into 3 levels: high, medium, and low. High, medium, and low. This morning, I'd like to walk you through these 3 levels of spiritual capacity. Let's begin by looking at high level of spiritual capacity. So this capacity, high capacity, refers to the ability where discernment and belief are immediately established upon hearing and listening the right Dharma, allowing one to carry out all spiritual practices with self-confidence. Sotaesan described practitioners in this group as precious and promising. Who are those people? I am in this group. Please, hand up. Nobody? Okay, let's see. The prototypical person in this group is Hanung, who became the 6th patriarch in Zen Buddhism in China. So patriarch is the word for head Dharma master in Won Buddhism. Hanung was a commoner who earned a living by collecting and selling firewood. One day at a marketplace, he overheard someone reciting a verse from Diamond Sutra: "To give rise to a mind that does not dwell anywhere." To give a rise to a mind that does not dwell anywhere. Without being formally educated or practicing Buddhism himself, he would not know what the Diamond Sutra was. But his mind fully awakened right there upon hearing this line. He must have accumulated a great deal of good karma, I think. After that event, he sought out the 5th patriarch. Despite his lack of formal training, Hanung's deep understanding of the Dharma impressed the 5th patriarch, who secretly appointed him as his successor. However, Hanung was advised to hide himself for a while to avoid jealousy and potential harm from others. So following this guidance, Hanung lived in among thieves for 18 years before revealing himself to the general public. So this is someone who's in this high spiritual capacity. So upon learning about Hanung's story, you might think, high spiritual capacity is someone else's path, not mine. Anybody think this way? Very good. I have several people hand up because I used to think this way. I believed it required extraordinary abilities, which I lacked, and I almost gave up on expanding my Dharma capacity. However, my thinking has evolved. What we can glean from those with high spiritual capacity isn't just the outcome, but the underlying causes and possibilities. These include having a broad vision, a love of learning, and perseverance. As I searched for hidden potentials, I see many around me demonstrating vast spiritual capacity. One such person is Venerable Myung-Ta-Won-nim, a retired Kyomun-nim who lives with us. But this morning, she is visiting Flushing Temple right now, so she is here with her spirit. The other day, when the temperature surged to over 90 degrees, she settled into the air-conditioned dining hall, deeply engrossed in reading and copying the scriptures of Won Buddhism. So I asked, why are you doing this? And she explained that she is preparing for her next life. And she was not kidding at all. Her commitment extends beyond learning the Dharma in all aspects of life, from exercising to gardening. Once she begins, she never ceases to practice. So now I also regard the people in this group as precious and full of promise, like Venerable Myung-Ta-Won-nim, and hoping someday I could be counted among them. What then could be the next promising group of people? Choice is very simple, either medium or low, right? You may think it is a group of medium spiritual capacity. However, it is actually those with low spiritual capacity. So let's first read the text and see why, and what that is so. Low spiritual capacity refers to the state where one is unable to differentiate the perverse from the upright. If well guided, such a person conforms directly to that guidance without calculating or doubting. While they may lack self-confidence in their own abilities, their spirits are simply pure. In a way, their minds are like sponges, similar to those of little children who observe teachings without filtering or doubt. Indeed, having a mind free of calculations is crucial for fostering faith. With this mindset, their practice can become steadfast, paving the way for steady progress. Consider the story of the father and the son who trusted each other. Once upon a time, there lived a father and his son in a small village. One day, the son went on a trip for a few days. During this trip, there was an opportunity to take a boat to go sightseeing on island. Soon after, bad news spread in the village that all the people on the boat had died due to a severe storm. People came to his father, worried about his son. But the father showed no concern at all for his son's safety. The father said, I told my son not to take a boat on a strong windy day, so he won't be on board. Just as his father predicted, a few days later, the son returned home safely. What can we learn from this story? Building trust in one another eases troubled minds and unnecessary worries. Moreover, building trust entails having no second thought. In fact, trust is the foundation of faith in a religious context. So what occurs when there is no firmly established faith? We would enter the phase of medium capacity. Let's delve into this phase. What does it involve and who belongs to this group? Medium spiritual capacity refers to the ability where one neither comprehends with precision nor is totally ignorant. Being unable to resolve one's doubts, one is always weighing the Dharma and the teacher, always weighing. Think about those moments when you were in the honeymoon phase of any kind. You were enthusiastic and willing to take new information with curiosity. But as we know, this phase usually phase after about 3 months or so. Then what comes next? Familiarity sets in, and we begin to form our own opinions and preferences. Our initial eagerness to learn and follow the given guidance may diminish. What does this mean? It means we no longer maintain a beginner's mind. Without a beginner's mind, everything becomes a source of doubt. This explains the stage of medium capacity. The guidance of your teacher may seem suspicious at this stage, so you keep thinking, why? Some of you may argue, isn't one Buddhism encouraging people to have a questioning mind? The answer is yes and no. Yes, when the questioning mind is based on trust and faith in teachers and Dharma. But no, when your questioning mind is driven by your judgment and calculations, and it is called a foxy mind, not a questioning mind. A fox, by its nature, has a tendency to look back to see if anyone is chasing. Similarly, a foxy mind revisits doubts and hesitations repeatedly. Suppose you plant a tree seed in a container. After a while, you do not see a visible sign of growth. With a foxy mind, you would dig up the soil to check on the seed, doubting the initial instructions. What would happen then? The tree won't grow and may even die. If a foxy mind is applied to spiritual practice, the path will deviate and be lost. Therefore, throughout the Buddhist tradition, teachers often caution practitioners against holding a foxy mind. This is very concerning stage. Enlightened teachers warned that when practitioners harbor a foxy mind, it not only distracts their own practice, but also influences others. While our physical body dies and affects us just for one time, a distracted mind led by doubts can impact many lifetimes ahead. We must be aware of this warning. And this is why the stage of medium spiritual capacity is often referred to as the illness of our mind. By now, some of you may feel uncomfortable with this information. And yes, indeed, medium spiritual capacity is a phase meant to feel uneasy and challenging. However, it is important to know this level and its symptoms. So I'll talk about the symptoms. Symptom number 1 is boredom. Feeling bored with the threefold practice, everything becomes tiring and tedious. If this symptom persists, words and actions may become harsher and more improper compared to non-practitioners. Somehow, humid and hot summer weather resembles the boredom of practice. Movements may become sluggish, and thoughts may adopt a whatever mindset. This is boredom of the symptom of medium spiritual capacity. Symptom number 2, stubbornness. When you find yourself repeatedly being told you are stubborn, you want to check in with your own mind. If doubts about your teacher and colleagues' advice arise, take time to reflect. Even if you believe your actions are motivated by pure service to others. Symptom number 3 is a conceited mind. This symptom is seen in those whose practice has moved beyond boredom and has advanced, yet they are not fully awakened. They are in the middle ground between having an excellent understanding of Dharma and complete enlightenment. Sometimes their speech or writing impresses others and earns praise from them. So being conceited creeps into their spirit. If this symptom persists, they begin to analyze their teacher's guidance and the right Dharma. They may forgive their own faults due to overconfidence. Dangerous. It is dangerous. There are many good spiritual teachers, but truly great ones are rare. Why is that? It's because of the challenge of overcoming the phase of medium capacity. Additionally, those of medium capacity may not be fortunate enough to encounter supremely enlightened teachers around them or receive the right guidance. What should we do to deal with this challenge? What can we do to overcome this stage and progress our practice? First and foremost, we need to be courageous to see which part of our practice needs attention. With courage, we will be able to truly listen to how others see our patterns of thoughts, our behaviors, and understanding of Dharma. Master Sotaesan said that if the relationship between a teacher and a student is like that of parents and children, the right Dharma will be transmitted. In fact, the relationship between Master Sotaesan and Taesan, who became the third head Dharma master, was exactly like that. One day at the meditation hall, while the congregation was gathered, Sotaesan delivered a talk on the dangers of being in the medium spiritual capacity. He mentioned that several of his disciples were caught in this illness of medium capacity. Then he pointed to Taesan, like Taesan, John here. You also need to be cautious about it. What would you do if you were Taesan? Yes, most likely, average people would feel embarrassed at first. I'll be embarrassed a lot. Perhaps denying or negating it and considering leaving the teacher, if not physically, then by ceasing to seek guidance from them, which would be very unfortunate and regrettable for them. But it is not the case for Taesan. Perhaps he might have felt embarrassed initially, but he retreated to his room and did not emerge. He refrained from eating and drinking for 3 days, deeply reflecting on his mind. Sometimes I wonder what he did alone in his room for 3 days. Did he simply sit on a cushion? Or did he walk around in his room? Did he try to seek guidance from books? Perhaps at some point might resentment have arisen in his mind. Honestly, I do not know. But one thing I am sure of is that he maintained the childlike curiosity, and with that he investigated his mind deeply. After this period, he emerged from his seclusion and submitted his renewed vow to Master Sotaesan, having moved beyond the limitations of his mind. It was January 1943, the same year that Master Sotaesan passed away. So far I've discussed and walked you through high, medium, and low spiritual capacity. We walk on our own individual Dharma paths. Remember, we are responsible for our own practice. And at some point in our journey, we may encounter the phase of medium spiritual capacity. So how would you like to navigate this phase? This is a critical question that each of us need to ask ourselves. With a beginner's mind, humility and curiosity, I hope and wish all of us, including myself, to make progress on our Dharma path. Thank you for listening.